finish line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet. Not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up. Oh, it's racing.
It is one of the most famed tracks in all of stock car racing. One of the most famed facilities and the biggest venues that there is to try to tame and claim. This is Daytona International Speedway, and this is the birth of Six Sigma Sim Racing Oval League. Hi everyone, I am the Crusader, Christian Schreiber, joining you guys here today. Here we are live here in Daytona Beach, Florida, at Daytona International Speedway, where we are about to witness Six Sigma Sim Racing Oval League make their television debut here on their very first race of the season. This is the season opener here at Daytona International Speedway, and with a numerous names of drivers you have known and seen before, I think we are in for quite the show, to say the least, with a who's who trying to make their mark and their name etched in stone of Daytona Beach. With that said, let's get down to business here, race fans. Let's get to our grading order here tonight, presented in part by our friends at Six Sigma Sim Racing. Your starting lineup looks like this. On the pole, in the number 20, it'll be Andrew Hardcastle. It is outside from the UK. It's the 43 of William White. Row number 2 is going to be the 24 of Matthew Moniak outside of him. And then number 76, that's Mike right out of Canada. Row number 3 is going to be at Eliaton Norgard. And then number 12, the outside of them. And the 16, it's Joe Tardif. And row number 4 is going to be the 21 of Corey Abbott. The outside of them. And then number 77, that'll be Kerry Brooks. In row number 5, we'll see the double O is Wyatt Bohannon. And the number 2 will be Chad Lancaster on his outside. In row number 6, it'll be Arthur Clements in the 3, the outside of them. And the number 14 is Austin Lauder. In row number 7, we then see the number 48 of Robert Kahn, the Rattlesnake back with outside of him. And the 15 is Bob Gray. Row number 8 is Parker Patrick Kelly. And the number 6, the outside of him. And the number 22, it's Old Oaks. See, it's Jeffrey Oaks. And row number 9, it is the Throttle Chantel Bottle in the 5 to her outside. In the 61, it is Chris Casillas. I'm saying it's out of the game. I'm sorry if I mispronounce anybody's names. I'm going to go with Chris Casillas. I'm just going to go with Chris Casillas for now. And then Stephen Lauder will be on the final starter, shotgun the field in the number 11. Chris, you gotta message me up here after this race, buddy. I am so sorry. Alright, here we go, race fans. We've got the drivers lined up into position here, presented by Six Sigma Sim Racing. This is your opening drive, your opening race. This season opener will definitely bring out the toughest and the hardest throwers of the racetrack scene today. All eyes lay on these heavy hitters and these gladiators entering into the Coliseum reigns. Brian Beeman has joined us. He says, let's go, William. Presuming where we're looking right now, I'm presuming he is talking about our friend all the way across the pond in the 43 of William White. It's great to see another fellow Englishman returning to the show. We love our fellow international drivers from the UK to Canada, the Newfoundland rocks of the islands. We love our friends in Nova Scotia regions, as well as from down across the big ponds from the UK to Ireland to Germany, Spain. They have all been represented here. Even Brazil has brought out a few drivers to this stable and to this track reigns. And some even, from my knowledge, have come in from the Middle East as well onto the show. So we have had a who's who of international flavor, and Daytona has it in its name, Daytona International Speedway. Well, you're about to find out why it is called that here and now. We lead our drivers off down through the final corners of turn number 4. It is time to go racing. The first race of the season, the debut of a new series and a new range. Here we go. 6 Sigma Sim Racing Oval League begins. This is probably one of my favorite starts to anything really in the events. It's just hearing the roar and the motors at a plate track like these drivers are putting on right now. Just letting them just go out there and just floor these things at top speed and top gun. Just to give you an idea, a sense of just how hard they are trying to get the gas going and trying to get the accelerator up to full top shape. What we're looking at today is a couple green-white checkered attempts. Only one fast repair up for grabs. And if you cause any troubles down there, you're getting sent to the back of the pack. These drivers in this league is not playing around. They are going to keep a close eye on stuff. They're going to be watching every single mark, every spot, and a chance you take to try to succeed in this one. So far, though, it's Andrew Hardcastle who has the early lead. Matthew Moniak in the 24. If you know that name very well, we've dealt with him before. He used to be driving harder on the Sunday night, Friday nights, and even the Wednesday night tours. We have seen him really bring out some hard-hitting cars and some hard racing drives. He's looking to try to bring it back out here today. Andrew Hardcastle, a new name that I'm aware of, as well as a Leighton Norgard. I like that last name, by the way. I don't know what it is, but Norgard. That's an awesome last name. I love it. Kind of reminds me of like some of the Viking era days. Like you just kind of have that last name, so it's like Norgard. It's like, I love it. I like it. All jokes aside right now, though, lighting them down through the field. You can see the draft starting to pick up. We are continuously starting to see drivers trying to exert the speeds and exert the momentum, but also probably being careful on their fuel mileage run. Remember, these races here at Daytona Talladega, there are two sides to the story. The first one is always, how do you handle yourself in the packs? Because, again, you've got a pack race. There's no doubt about it. Can you stay close and even out with the targets, and can you drive your way through the field? Or do you try and lay low and let everybody else abuse themselves, which then leads me into my next point as we go on board here with Arthur Clemens, the fuel strategy. Fuel mileage is huge, and it's big here. Now, again, you may be thinking, okay, I'm in the lead, I'm all good, but here's the problem. There's a consequence to it. If you're in the lead and you're leading this field out, you got to remember something. If you're continuously on the throttle and hitting that gas pedal, you've got to be burning up fuel, and you're tearing up some of that fuel mileage that you can get for the long run. Too much of that and not enough miles in that car, and you're not going anywhere. You're going to go straight to the back, and Hardcastle's learning that the hard way as he goes 3 wide for the lead. Can't get the pass, though. He gets shifted back to the shadow realm. He'll go to the outhouse right now. He's looking to try to get back to the White House as soon as possible. But so far, so good. Very clean out of the gate. I think the drivers really remember that one fast repair is all they get. So if they damage their equipment up right now, they damage themselves up, well, they best be hoping they can find a place to get off this beach, because they're going to be stuck in the stands for a while. On board here with the number 77 of Kerry Brooks here, and you can see just how close they're pushing the speeds and they're ramping up the levels. But if you hear closely the RPMs, you can actually hear he's off throttle and he's on throttle at sometimes. Listen carefully. I get pinpoints back to what I was saying earlier. Trying to get that extra lap, extra mile or two you can get out of this car. It allows you to really make some big moves, some big changes out there. It gives the drivers options in terms of where to go and what to do. It's not a matter of trying to push yourself to the front as quick as you can. It's a matter of trying to out-strategize the entire field and hope for the best. Bike tracks don't necessarily need to be just about lucks. They're all racing in general. You have to have a little bit of luck and a lot of skill to survive. But in my opinion, with this kind of racing, this is more strategy based if the drivers are willing to accept the consequences and not go into too much positions that they cannot outrun or they cannot race in between with. Been solid so far here through the field throughout right now. Currently moving down to the bottom of the chain. Mike Rideout, the number 76. We know him all too well here. He is currently wrapped up in the middle of the pack there. I had the pleasure of racing him out just a little while ago, and you know, I talked to him before I got to this race, and he said point blank, I'm not here to make statements. I'm not here to literally show, you know, what I am as a driver. I've already proven that. I'm just out here to have fun and help support a great cause and help support a great team and a great crew. And these Six Sigma Sim Racing guys, man, they are an absolute pleasure to work with and deal with. I've actually, I'm not gonna lie, and this is not a sponsored thing on my end, but I'm actually in one of their cockpits right now. This is the brand, I've got the 6S80 that I'm currently sitting and using, and I'll tell you, from racing versus broadcasting, compared to my old rig, it works just the same in terms of feel and comfortability. It does take a little adjusting to get used to, considering I came from what pretty much was a lawn chair, but you know, getting used to this wheel and this setup, man, I love it. It has done more than just enhance. This really made me feel more comfortable. So hashtag not sponsored. Although the race is sponsored by Six Sigma Sim Racing, my thoughts are not. So let's just leave it at that. Anyway, rolling him down through the field right now. Currently down through turn number 3 and 4. Alienson Norgard has got the race lead. We have a new leader as the number 12 Toyota Supras hold the charge and the speed up. Moniak, Abbott, and White currently in that pack too. A horde of Supras right up front. And that's surprising to me too, because usually I'm used to seeing the Fords and the Chevys be the most predominant car in these series in this racing, but there are only 3 Fords, and surprisingly on these Chevys end, there's only about 5 or 6 of them, at least for tonight anyway. The Subarus definitely have a good number of drivers in that category. They've got in total, I'm counting, looks like I'm counting 9 in total out of the 19 cars, so almost half the field. Would there be a bit of a shift in terms of the manufacturing spotlight for them? Do they feel like they can get something going there with them? We'll have to see. Joe Tardif, the number 16, coming off of that unfortunate collision course he suffered last Tuesday night down in Homestead, Miami Speedway. He told me earlier today, I don't know what on the nature of iRacing I ran into, but some kind of whatever ghost decided to attack me, or as you called it, their Crusader glitch graphic gremlins. I guess I got the bad end of that stick, but I'm glad I'm okay. I'm glad I'm still able to come out here and race today at these guys at Six Sigma Sim Racing Oval League. Well, we certainly are glad to have you back out here, Joe, and we're so glad to see you still out here and trying to put on a show here for these fans and these crews on around here. Joshua Gossett says, which Dodge would come back? Joshua, I'm right there with you, bud. More manufacturers, the better. The more we can get, the more diversity and the more hard racing we can get from different kind of levels and playing fields here. And that's what I would love to see, too. I'm right there with you. I think one brand, though, we'll definitely see coming here on iRacing eventually, as even Dale Jr. has mentioned, is the Pontiacs 87s. We do know those are coming. Also, just a little heads up, earlier today we were told, and we actually showed that iRacing is releasing the new Toyota 86 car, so we'll see that come out, and that's actually going to be a free pack for anyone that wants to race that. So if you're looking to get on iRacing and you still haven't thought your way through, let me tell you, that car is going to be free, as well as a couple new tracks will be added to the free list. So If you need to get if you ever thought about or even had the ideas of getting into iRacing, now is the time to do so. They've got a good deal going on. So with that they're still on that Black Friday end. So get in now while you can. You've got a lot of content waiting for you guys. As I've always said before, the more drivers we can bring on to the sim stage and really showcase out on the track, the more awesome and fun it is to really see and really kind of holster down on. As we go on board here with Wyatt Bohannon right now. This is one thing I want to kind of give you guys an idea of, is just how much turn you see these drivers use up and go through. And then that was a glitch craft for Gremlin attacking him, not us. But you can just see he's not really turning the car in much. He's not really giving too much into the turn either. He's really trying to keep that thing as straight as possible to engage the speed and also increase the airflow around that car so the car can straight shoot a little bit harder and a bit faster around the ledges and on the edges of this track. Parker Patrick Kelly right now in the number 6 is looking to be put a lap down. Looks like he had some troubles down there a little earlier on. Didn't go to pit road and got kind of trapped in a bit of a mess there. And the 6 low down in position. He's got damage on the front end of that 6 machine as they're looking to almost go 3 wide. I know that's a good idea there when you got a driver right up in the middle. Top side goes the Valvoline 6. They'll get around Patrick on the inside and down on the bottom. Through the corners. Parker Patrick trying to stay out of the way for the drivers trying to maneuver around him. Many drivers trying to look more towards staying in towards the very back end of the track. And speaking ahead from the back end of the track, 4 spots up. One of the hard charges is the 5 of Chantel the Throttle Pottle as she continues to figure out a way to get around to that TRD development. 48 of the Rattlesnake Rubber Con. If you missed the showcase there at Watkins Glen International last night, that was a showcase between 2 heavy hitters and the Crusader and Khan. Driver would get the advantage there in that case, but Robert Kahn certainly did not leave anything out. And a little side note, by the way, Kahn, I still remember you taking me hard to that bus stop. It was some hard racing there, buddy. But that's still certainly a last lap you guys got to check out if you haven't already. Also, check out the rest of that race, too. There's some awesome moments there from 3 cars in the back battling for supremacy. Extremely exciting race with those Chevrolet Corvettes at Watkins Glen. Kind of coming around down on turn number 1, down into turn number 2 here. A little bit of movement coming from the number 43. William White right now currently kind of trapped up as the Englishman tries and harnesses the push and the speeds. He's trying to show the Americans what he can do as well as the fellow Canadians. Quite a few North American drivers kind of lumped in here into this race and in this bracket. But of course, our friends across the pond and across the entire landscape of the world really showing that it's not just the Americans and the Canadians that have a leg up on the ovals. Anybody can come out here and challenge the best. We are 16 laps in so far out of the 60 laps race. Expect a lot of drivers later on here to really start kind of getting closer in towards the pit road, and they're going to be really having to figure out that fuel mile strategy. Definitely a long distance fight out as Matthew Moniak, the Subaru 24, decides to get out of the way a little bit. He goes up top side and actually takes a corner. It's like, I'm trying not to laugh at his gear right now. He's got the Waluigi helmet on. Oh no. Moniak, you're still a character down there, buddy. That's all I gotta tell you. Elliott and Norgard right now, I believe, led the most laps so far. Corey Abbott right now watching closely, looking for an opening. The CR21 trying to stick with the 12. As the field moves our way to the change zone, back on the pack, Jeffrey Oaks, Joe Tardif right now. They are currently also pushing some boundaries and pushing some levels up. Oaks driving the number 20 car, although he is registered as the number 22, just for a reminder. And we're so used to seeing that 20 car represented well on the Oaksy camp. He's always had a bit of a drive, had a bit of a push there when it came to how he comes out and how he races. Kerry Brooks right now in the 77 looks like he wants to make some charges up to the front. He goes right in the middle there of Matthew Moniak in the 24. As the 43 of William White defends the outside and probably looking for some help to push to the front. He's going to get some of that help now as he goes lining them up. They're going to side draft him off that back straightaway, coming down for the lead. The 43 looks for an opening. Norgard knows he's got nowhere to go. Probably waving right now at Abbott to start pushing and start shoving if he absolutely has to on the back stretches. You can't really do it on the front stretch. That'll be a very tight ordeal and a very bad situation you do not want to throw yourself into. He's well aware of that as they continue to move their way to the chains. Arthur Clements driving a car that I think you could best describe as very, very synonymous with Daytona. Is the famed and the featured Wrangler number 3, the yellow and blued up scheme. And that is the same kind of scheme, the same kind of design, just not the same number, that brought a driver by the name of Dale Earnhardt Sr. to the limelight many, many years ago in one of his very first starts in this track. A track that at the same time gave him some of his hardest deals to work around and having to really struggle with. Until, of course, that awesome moment and event in 1998 where he finally was able to pull it off. And pull off the Daytona 500. And up to that point, too, he won every single event here that you can do that they had. He just didn't get the Daytona 500. It took him 20 years with that famous call that he was able to finally do it and get that monkey off his back. Speaking of getting a monkey out their back right now, William White actually got a monkey off the top and down, and it got a run to the bottom. And now he's got a few right now trying to deal around him as he took the lead. He's going to pit road. Everybody else kind of enduring their spots here, looking for their positioning. Is they going to round through the corners? Oh, hold on down there. William White with trouble, as well as a 21 of Corey Abbott. Well, that's not the pit stop they were looking for. They're trying to get it quickly squared up and back in it. They're going to have to hurry, though. They need to get quickly into pit road, and they need to get through to get back into a pack, or they're going to be left high and dry here. That was a major mistake by the two drivers there. And Matthew Moniak and Wyatt Bohannon, something's gone wrong to 24. I think he's out of fuel. I think Moniak just ran out of fuel. Bohannon is right now right behind him. I think he's going to try to help him here. Make sure he tries to get him into pit road. What an absolutely wild situation. Literally 1/3 into this race. As they head to the pits, Kerry Brooks will be your leader for now. Kahn, Pottle, and Oaks will move in with them. Lancaster joins them. Those 5 drivers right now probably looking carefully at everything as Oaks and Pottle almost getting into it there in pit road. Both overshoot their pit stall. That's a problem down there. They're going to have to get it cleared up quickly. The field is already mounting a charge back in it. Joe Tardif has got the field right now working with him. Brooks is coming out. So is Lancaster and Kahn. Pottle and Oaks, they're going to get out. Looks like White is going to go a couple laps down. I think he got Kahn speeding in pit road. Oaks looks like the same. Here comes the pack. The leaders coming through. Tardif will lead louder. Norgard and Hardcastle to the promised land. They'll lead them down through turn number 1 into turn number 2, looking for the lead. Lancaster and Kahn right now trying to draft off, trying to push each other to keep them behind them, but I don't think they're going to build enough momentum. Down to the legs, down to the ends. Looks like Lancaster and Kahn, they did build some speed up, and Brooks was able to join them. A later pit stop actually might have secured a shot here to get these guys more in line. They all went in about the same time, so they're good for a pit stop here. They got about 20 laps in on each of that. So what does that mean? Well, they're going to have to go to pit road at least one more time. And they're also going to have to be very careful about when and where they choose their marks. Chris Kussler is going to go into pit road as well. Looks like, unfortunately, maybe a speeding penalty or a little trouble off pit road the last time will cost him. That'll send him back. William White, Arthur Clements, Parker Patrick Kelly, Matthew Moniak, all struggling, going in and out of pit road. Oh, hold on down there. There's some bumping, there's some beating, there's some banging. Coming down through turn 4, Tardiff got trapped in the middle. The meat of the sandwich takes the blunt from Kahn. And the driver behind him, and the number 14 of Austin Lauder. Lauder did not give him any room to breathe. He did not give him any room to think or speak. As the number 20 as well comes back in, Andrew Hardcastle trying to get the GameStop machine up back into the fight and into the zone. Lancaster, though, he's your new leader. And surprisingly, Lancaster hasn't had much success here on these kind of races, these kind of tracks. And yet right now he's doing an extremely good job keeping his focus, keeping his spot on card. If he could hang on just a little bit more, I think he might have a chance here. Right now, some drivers left high and drive like Pottle, Oaks, Rideout, Abbott, Lauder, and Bohannon. They all got kind of separated out from the pack. Mike Rideout currently working with Jeffrey Oaks to try to catch up to the 5-6 of Pottle and the 43 of William White. The Englishman working with the driver from Newfoundland. Very differing styles there in terms of country and home place. But at the same time, the same drive to survive and the same mentality. Go out there and try to win the race. Well, race fans, it's been a bit of a wild little run and a bit wild a little ride. But how's about we kind of cut back a little bit, let these drivers kind of cut it through. It's time to crank it up. Here in the halfway marker right now, currently, as we come from the crank it up scene, we see these drivers really ramp it up a little bit. Everybody getting extremely aggressive here late into the run. The airflow around the car starting to really dictate the pace, really starting to push some of these drivers to their maximum here. Again, the closer they become, the faster they grow in strength and speed. But again, the difficult nature of this Xfinity car, it may not look that hard to actually drive. You're probably thinking, I can get behind the wheel of one of these things and drive them. This ain't that hard. Come on, what's so hard about it? Well, may I have to remind you, we saw two drivers literally in pit road lose control of the Xfinity of this car here, just trying to get squared up and then in control of their own destiny. Now you got drivers that are currently trying to push and shove, and you can see just how loose and wobbly they're already getting. They're becoming an extremely big handful just to work around and deal with, and for good reason too. This car is not exactly as stable as you may think. It's got a 550 horsepower package underneath it, but a whole lot of momentum to really work and torque into. So right now, it's currently we're halfway done with this race so far. Field trying to keep their pace, trying to keep their control and their wits end in this one. Real quick as well here on the live stream, I know we are currently having some problems and technical difficulties on our end for the stream. I'm not sure what's going on down there or what is going to be the problem, but we're trying to get that back up as soon as we can here. We'll try to get back with you guys on the Facebook end here as soon as we can. We are currently working with it as best we can here. Field moving their way around the track here currently as we continue to really doghound off the speeds and off the controls here. Every driver for themselves here, and they are still in a good charge and a good drive off. Robert Kahn currently leading the field out just a little bit. We saw Bob Gray, though, in that number 33 Cheerios machine. Oh, man, that's a scheme that takes me a little bit back. I love the look of that thing, too. It just kind of reminds me of the old truck days when you used to see that out on the Craftsman truck side, as well as the, now, what was the Gander Outdoor Truck Series a few times. Of course, also, I think that scheme was pretty notable on Xfinity, and I believe it was on a Cup ride, too. So, pretty cool little scheme there, to say the least. Back to the pack right now. Let's take a look back here as currently the 3 of Arthur Clements trying to work with the number 20 of Jeffrey Oaks and the 76 of Mike Rideout right in front of him. Currently, he is a couple laps down, and he's trying to get back in it quickly. Oaks and Rideout trying to do much of the same. Pottle and White, William White that is, try to work hard together and trying to figure something out. Pottle seems to be struggling a little right now. Looks like some mechanical problems in that number 5. She is struggling to get the car to kind of stabilize down and take control. As everybody right now maneuvers through the field, they're going to work around Stephen Lauder there, the 11 FedEx machine, nearly getting some of these drivers kind of off pace and off track. Chad Lancaster almost losing it completely into that corner there as the number 2, or excuse me, the 54, I should say. Wow, they're right down there behind Lancaster. Doesn't look like I have a number 54 on my list, and that's because I don't. That's actually Stephen Lauder. So, who's driving the FedEx car? Oh, that's Chris Kusuler. Oh, it's the 61. Sorry, my apologies there, Chris. I thought that was the. You gotta forgive me. I thought that was the 11. You know, Denny Hamlin always driving that car. That was my bad. Working their way down around the track here. Still everybody in control of their own spots and control of their speed here. Nobody left slow. No one left out in the dry spots. Been a pretty good start here in a battle off. Yeah, we do apologize to all of our Facebook users out there that were watching with us on the Facebook Live right now. We don't know what's going on or what happened. We just know we're trying to figure it out ourselves.